everyone. Our next guest is a former television executive who, after decades of huge success, found herself an unemployed single mother of two. Through sheer determination, she completely reinvented herself to become the CEO of a multi-million-dollar fashion empire. Please welcome to our home, Marla Wynne Ginsburg. Welcome, Marla. What an inspiration.
Thank you for being here. Such a great story.
Oh, well,
goodness.
It wasn't that much fun all the time, but it is a good story now.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes it isn't a lot of fun getting to where you're supposed to be, but you got there through your sheer determination. So let's go back a few years ago. Here you were. You were a mother of two teenagers. You were at the top of your game. You know, I mean, as far as television executives go, it was a big life.
It was a big life.
And then suddenly, life threw you a curveball, and everything began to just crumble. What happened?
Well, I was living in Europe. I was one of the highest-ranking female executives. I was producing at the time The Highlander, developing La Femme Nikita, big life, interesting people, directors, writers, producers, amazing costume designers, which came in handy later. But you know what? My parents were starting to age. My son sort of spoke like a caveman with a lovely French accent, and I felt like it was probably time to move home and just kind of get closer to home. But you know, timing is everything. And when I got there, not long after I arrived, there was a writer's strike, and I knew that getting a post-strike job was about as likely as my finding a natural blonde in Beverly Hills.
I don't know what you mean.
Myself included, yes. He's all natural. Everything, it's all natural. So anyway, I knew that the studios were going to cut back, and I was what they called a non-writing executive producer. I wouldn't have even hired me. So I knew that the chances were pretty slim, and I was also becoming one of those people. When I was young in Hollywood, I remember being in my 20s and 30s, and someone who was my age would come in and pitch me something, and I'd think, oh, you're so old.
Oh, gosh.
And I realized, ugh, now I'm one of those people. But I got news for you. You know, at the time when my reinvention occurred, I thought it was this very unique thing. But I've come to realize we are all having to do it every day. I don't care who you are, what age you are. This is a life lesson we're all going to live.
Interesting. I mean, and it's very true on so many different levels. But it was at that time, you know, continuing with your flashback, that you realized that in order to succeed, you needed a full career shift in many ways. And so you decided, it's a very bold choice, very courageous, to become a fashion designer for women over 40, and you did it, but it did not come without some sacrifices. So tell us about the difficult journey, especially initially with that.
And you weren't even in the fashion business.
No, I knew nothing about it. I went out and I bought a sewing machine. I had to learn to, you know, put the thread through the machine. I had to learn everything. But what I think I did that was smart, first of all, I can tell you can Google everything. So I learned how to do that. Everything I learned about fashion, I Googled. But I did love fashion. And when I came back to the U.S., I saw a real white space in the market. There was great clothes, but my body was shifting and changing, you know, and my closest relationship was with gravity. And I just said, you know.
You might want to also do stand-up comedy because you're very funny.
Well, that next. But the reality was that having lived in Paris all those years, I saw how fantastic women really could look. And I thought, I can do something that's easy and elegant. I am not going to give up fashion just because I got a little older and a few icky bits, right? But I also had two kids who annoyingly wanted to eat and go to university and things like that. And this was very, very difficult at the time because I lost a lifetime of savings. My house slid down the mountain it was built on in terms of its value. My savings, everything was gone. So I went from having a life that was very, very big. I was very blessed. I had, you know, the right car. I had a live-in nanny. I had a pool. I had a gardener. And when the duty hit the fan, I fired the gardener. I drained the pool. And I leased out that room that the nanny lived in. And I will tell you that I learned to make a meatloaf on Monday that turned into marinara by Friday. And that isn't easy for someone who had this big life. I thought I was impervious. Nothing's ever going to happen to me. I'm fabulous. It's wrong. I was so not fabulous. And it was so difficult. But I will tell you, if it weren't for the people who loved me and for some of the kindness of strangers, I don't think I would have never gotten through it. You know, it was a kind of experience where I'd put the kids to bed at night, take my daughter's car, because I had turned mine in, and I would drive to El Monte here in California, and I'd work the night shift along with the workers, and occasionally slept on those concrete floors, and then would get back to the kids in the morning and try and act like everything. It was great. So I don't know if I'm a comedian, but I was a darn good actress because I think the kids got through it okay, but your life changes.
Right.
Manicures, gone. Hair, gone. I don't know what color my hair was, you know, like after a couple of years. It just, I cut everything I could to keep their life as stable as I could and to get used to my new reality.
I mean, and yes, it was about the people around you, but you also turned it into a huge empire, what you did. So it was a miracle. Also your hard work and your sheer determination. I mean, that's absolutely the truth. And not only that, you then were thrown another curveball. Your son was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah. So it was going great. I was on HSN. Things were going fabulous. I don't know how many years it'll be that I can't talk about it without tearing up. It was Thanksgiving. Life had finally turned around, and I got a phone call. My son, I'd sent, his dad was living in Europe, and I sent him to Europe because he wasn't doing really well in the English language school system, so he was studying there, and I get a call on Thanksgiving, house full of people, and Jason was 18 and diagnosed with stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. That's a game changer. No parent wants to go through that. But I will tell you there's something called collateral beauty. Collateral beauty is this magical thing that happens. When the worst happens, you dig deep. You find out who your friends are. You find out who the people are that really love you. And for my son and I, he's here, 24 years old. He's doing great. And we are better, stronger people. So when you think you can't do something, I promise you, you can. But you have to find the beauty in even the toughest places you're in.
And you can succeed even beyond your own expectations.
Yeah, no doubt.
This was that.
You took you survived that incredibly. Your business thriving, closed out the year at $45 million.
At retail.
Incredible. So just really quickly, some point form things that people can take away about how to reinvent yourself. What quick wisdom would you give?
Get up every morning and don't reorganize your junk drawer. Get up every morning to do 3 things that are going to move your life ahead. And I don't care if it's your birthday, your kid's birthday, Christmas, New Year's, you do 3 things every day to move your life ahead. You make a phone call, right? Get 3 names of 3 more people you can talk to. Take every meeting and do your research, do your homework. And be willing to be vulnerable. Be willing to admit what you don't know, because guess what? People will fill in those blanks. And if you know what you don't know, you're ahead of the game.
Absolutely.
Marla, you are amazing.
Thanks for sharing all this.
You can check out the Marla Wynne fashion collection at MarlaWynne.com. So awesome. Okay. Wow. And let me tell you something.
Later on Home and Family, a handheld summer classic, decadent Maine lobster rolls. Then we're going plastic bag free with Allie's reusable snack pouches.
And you can customize these for your kiddos.
Perfect.